Hi everyone, welcome back to Math 2, Unit 6. This is Lesson 6.3, and we are on the part of class today where you are practicing applying the circle equation that we created in Activity 2. So let's look at the first question. We know that the center of this circle is at 2, -3. So I'm going to label that really quickly. 2, -3. And the radius is 6. Write an equation for this circle using what you've learned today. So let's first think about in our last activity where we basically had a random point x, y, right? And we came up with an equation for our circle by applying that concept of the right triangle and the Pythagorean theorem. So we know that the horizontal distance here, right, is going to be the difference between the x coordinates. In this case, right, we don't know what this point is. So this will be just x, and we've got x coordinate 2 over here. So this will be x minus 2. And then we know that the difference between the vertical distance here will be the difference between the y coordinates. We've got y and then -3. And then we can write this as y minus -3. So remember our Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? So so this side will be our like r, our radius, right? So we don't know what our radius is, but either one of these two sides can be our a and b, right? Because in a right triangle, this part's our hypotenuse, but then either one of these can be our a or b. So I'll just make our x minus 2 be our a, and then our y minus -3 be our b value. Y minus -3 squared equals. And remember, right, we are given that our radius here is 6. So I'm actually going to make this a 6. And since 6 is our c value, instead of c over here, I'm just going to put 6 squared. So now we have x minus 2 squared plus, remember when we're subtracting a negative, so when we see this double negative over here, it becomes addition. So y plus 3 squared equals, you can keep it as 6 squared or simplify that, so that'll just be 6 times 6, which is 36. So this is our circle equation over here. So once you start to get comfortable with this equation and this right triangle process, we can actually go directly to our equation, right? So when we had x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared, h comma k, right? So h comma k is our center. We know that our center is at 2, -3. So think of 2 as being our h value here. So I'm going to circle these two. And then think of the -3 as, think of -3 as being our k value. So then you can just go ahead and plug those in to your equation wherever you see h and k. All right, and then I'll actually write down here that r equals 6. So another way, actually an easier way to do this, is when you're given your center and your radius, you can just plug it in directly into this equation, which we found in our last activity. So now I've got x minus, I'll write this, x minus 2, the whole squared, plus y. Remember this was a minus the -3, oops, squared equals, and then our 6 squared. And then, right, once we simplify it, we will actually get back to this step over here with that negative becoming a positive over here. So I hope that was helpful. This video should be helpful for you in answering the rest of the practice questions on this activity.